Ange gets his first win, and plenty to ponder for Podge.
Evening, mate.
Evening, Jack. You alright?
Yeah, all good. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Recovered from a heavy weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't with you over the weekend, but I saw some messages flying about. It was a bit of a big one. It's Saturday night. Or
Saturday day.
Yeah.
Saturday. Well, happy birthday, Griff, first and foremost. And we were out celebrating his birthday on Saturday. Plenty of beers, doing a beer challenge like we did for my birthday. New beer every pub. And I look back at my notes yesterday evening, there's like 13 different beers on there. Jaeger Bomb. Jaeger Bomb was out.
You didn't go to that many places though, did you? Or just
every drink was different? We went to quite a few.
Yeah.
But when you're in Oak House at, I don't know, midnight, and you've been out since 12,
it's not. It can't be a good place to be.
But no, it was an eventful weekend. But how about yourself? You were down.
It was good. I'm sure we'll talk about, but it was. I have to say, it was a very good weekend, and makes a big difference already. But no, it was good.
As you'll all know, it was Tottenham versus Manchester United at the weekend, but it also was Tottenham versus Manchester United at Spurs' last game at White Hart Lane. But who scored for Manchester United that day?
Well,
that is the question. Have a think about it.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to Spurs. Man United have actually got a very good record at it.
They have, yeah. That was our first win since 2018. Well, I don't think we beat them at the new ground.
It was at Wembley, that win.
Yeah, and then our last home win against United was 2018. Since the new ground, they've just been very good. Yeah, they have been very good.
So for the show, we'll run through Spurs and Manchester United, Wolves versus Brighton, and then finishing on Chelsea versus West Ham. Obviously, we've got the usual team of the week. We'll have our weekly prediction and end on winner and loser. But obviously, there's only one place to start. Spurs' first home game of the season. Obviously, you were within attendance.
Yep.
Tell us how the day went.
No, it was very. I think everyone started off very. You were excited and you were apprehensive and all the rest of it. But yeah, obviously the result, and everyone knows the result and how we played. But it turned out to be very, very good. We didn't have the problems that Emirates had, or even Brentford with the water supply to the ground. So it was a much smoother entrance to the stadium. It was just, I don't know. Immediately you knew there was a different feel around the stadium. Everyone's excited. You obviously see groups of people you normally see at Tottenham, and everyone's happy and smiling, and that's within. I know it's ridiculously early. I'll explain more, but it's 2 games in, and like hold your horses. But you just. Immediately, it's just like I saw a tweet before I left. It said, if we finish 7th but playing this way of Ange, I'll be far happier than we were when we finished 4th with Conte. And it's true. Obviously, when we finished 4th, that moment at Norwich was brilliant. But in reality, the grand scheme of things, it was awful. It was, you don't realise, but it was almost depressing. Like it was just terrible way to play football. But overall, it was a brilliant day, and it couldn't have gone much better. I don't think.
Well, that was gonna be one of my questions to ask you. Obviously, leading up to the game, did you go to the pub beforehand? And like you said, you met your usual crowd you go before. I remember when we went back in March or April, whenever it was, everyone was down in the dumps. If it was home game to Bournemouth, you think, come on, let's get those 3 points. I think it was an hour, might get a draw.
Yeah.
We don't really care either. You had, is it Stellini?
Yeah,
Stellini in charge.
It was Mason, Stellini, like Conte was there. It was just,
And now you've got a more positive atmosphere. And I think, was it going into the ground like everyone's up for it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And like you said beforehand, it was, you always go to Tottenham, no matter what situation your club's in, you always go and support them, always go watch the games. But it got to a point where it was like, right, we are just going for a few beers and to see everyone. But it wasn't even, you just wrote off the football. It's like, it is what it is. Like it almost became, we just went and watched Harry Kane because we loved him and all the rest of it. And the managers and the rest of them, it was just, it is what it is. But beforehand, everyone was buzzing and everyone was smiling and happy, and that obviously carried on. It helped with our performance on the pitch, but the whole atmosphere there with Ange coming in has just changed it. It's, tenfold.
So the team that started, it was Porro in for Royale.
And Sarry in for Skip.
And
didn't 2 changes, and I think United, same 11 they had against Wolves from Monday night.
We didn't obviously touch on it because as we were recording at the time of the game, we expected them to be 2-3-0 up by the time we finished recording. 0-0. My friend Ben gives a text and said, "Mate, we could be 3-0 down by you." And I thought, oh, "Come on, mate, what are you on about?" And then we're coming back and watching it. And how lucky were they?
Oh, and that's because touching on as we record now, it's about 7:30, and Arsenal kick off at 8. So the Monday night football fixture, whatever happens, we sort of ignore it. But from last week, Wolves not just one absolutely battered them, but they were
robbed.
That penalty is the biggest bit of disgraceful refereeing. Call it on cheating, bias. I'm never really into that, and Tate has sort of told me a few things, and I've been swayed over the past year or so, but that was outrageous, absolutely disgusting.
But it's borderline. Like I said, I don't like using the word because it sounds stupid, but it's borderline corruption.
No, it is. It must be. It must be. Like, there is no explanation. They come out and say sorry. Howard Webb comes out and says sorry, and immediately after, I think John Moss,
Atkinson, and Webb were all pictured.
All having a dinner and stuff. But John Moss comes out and said no, it was the wrong decision. Well, how can you come out immediately and say that? It was just, it's whether if you're a Man United fan, you say, oh yeah, well, it's one of those things. It comes and goes, but no, it was disgraceful.
I mean, we'll get into it a little bit now, but my main point was like, what billion-pound company do you know in the world that isn't corrupt?
No, you have to, and
even close to home, Sarry is being corrupt in the last 20 years.
Yeah, and you see it with owners, and you saw it with Abramovich, and things will be raised about the Saudi. Everyone moans about the Saudi money, but even Levy, like not necessarily Levy, but Joe Lewis, who's the big owner, all the rest of it, they're multi-millionaires, billionaires, for example. They're not being nice, and we do it all for charity. And Arsenal's probably the same, Liverpool's probably the same.
They all get money, and
they have millions and billions and all the rest of it. So it's very unlikely they've done it all nice and clean, and they ran a charity and they helped out the homeless people. Like, they're just people are stupid, absolutely stupid.
It was absolutely horrific decision.
But I don't know why the ref didn't give it straight away. He saw the goalkeeper flying out. It was just ridiculous.
So the game started pretty evenly, a few chances here and there. What's your opinion on this potential handball penalty? Is this justice, or is that a penalty?
Well, I obviously I'm going to say it's.
Have you watched it back?
Yeah, the handball and on Romero, and I think it's very much 50-50, but it's almost like when the handball, not the handball rule, but when it became a thing a couple of seasons ago, it was like everything, and then now all of a sudden it's not everything, and then it might go back next week and it might be changed, the rules might change, or the decisions might change, but I don't think it's a penalty. It shouldn't be, and it wasn't given as a penalty, but they definitely have been given as penalties and whatnot in previous weeks. But then again, Monday night, Man United at home, Wolves,
even last week, Lewis Dunk got penalised handball on just nothing compared to that, and I'm like, where's consistency?
No consistency.
Like, I can. Now we've got VAR, I will always give the referee, the referee, the benefit of the doubt. But there's no excuse for the VAR things. Like, look at the screen, or that's.
And on the refs,
they shouldn't get it wrong.
No,
the ref can get it wrong.
Michael Oliver at the weekend was awful, absolutely awful. Just all about him. He's supposedly our best referee in the country. He's absolutely nowhere near it. And I think the problem is the standard of football is going up and up every season, every week, but the refs have not gone with it, and that's incredibly difficult. You can't be that good of a ref as the same as the league, but the refs have not improved one bit, and with VAR, without VAR, it's just a mess. And I thought Michael Oliver was terrible the weekend, but the handball easily given, but I'm glad it wasn't, and they shouldn't be given in football like that. That scenario, that situation, there's nothing you could do about it. So
I was personally very shocked he didn't give it. But then, like you said,
as soon as it went VAR, I thought, well, that's a
he's
penalty.
very close to he was very close, but like I said, you've seen him given.
Yeah, without a doubt. When it went in the stadium, obviously VAR, and it's United, you just assume here we go, penalty. Like, and we said before, they'll get a decision on whatever, and they didn't. But
Fernandes has come out and demanded an apology, hasn't he? He's demanded
disgraceful. We watched him. Obviously, I watched him at the weekend, but like me,
he's a horrible man.
My brother and my dad were saying, well, he'd be the worst person to have in your team. If you're League 2 fighting relegation or top of the Premier League, Bruno Fernandes he's got to be the worst player to have in your side.
What was that last year when they lost 7? Or was it 9? 7.
7 to Liverpool.
7-0. Yeah. And he was trying to sub himself off, wasn't he?
His attitude absolutely stinks. And he might, when it's going well, obviously, he plays well, but I'd hope everyone, when it's going well, is doing all right.
Missed an absolute sitter.
Yeah, and on the first half, I think it was relatively even. Man United had the better chances and a few more chances, and we didn't play terribly, but yeah, Fernandez's header was, I don't know how he's missed the target and not scored, and even Rashford when he went through and Vicario made a very good save. I think they had one offside that it was offside, but Rashford should have scored. They were right first half, but we were good as well. We just
you hit
very
the post
even.
and the bar, didn't you?
Yeah, we hit the bar. Porro smashed the bar, but then
it came back.
Sarr got it and sort of dug out across and it deflected and hit the post. But yeah, and Sarr had another chance. So it was quite an even first half. But when it ended, we were all like pretty content, and it was definitely a game that was there to be won, and we were right involved. But yeah, they were good. They were what we expected, really.
And then moving into the second half, it was only 4 minutes into the second half that you took the lead. It was a cross from Kulusevski, wasn't it? It came across, maybe a little deflection, and then
Kulusevski stayed out wide, sort of changed it up, and he carried on his right foot. He normally just comes inside, and again dug out across, and it got a slight nick on the way, and it fell to Sarry, who basically gambled and smashed it home in the roof of the net, and we were 1-0 up, and yeah, it was brilliant.
First goal for Spurs?
Yeah, first goal. He's the youngest goal scorer for Tottenham since Foyth scored, and I think he was 20. He's 20 years old and 339 days or something. So, yeah, we've got a very good few young players at the minute. So,
yeah, I heard somewhere it was the first time, maybe ever. I don't know the exact stat that you had two 20-year-olds starting.
Possibly
because left backs.
Yeah, I got it here, but our average age at starting 11 was 24.3 years old, and in terms of age, it's a very good mix because we've got Son who's 31, we've got even Madison. I know he's new to the club, but he's 26 years old. Even the goalie's 26, and yeah, we've got the Porro is 23, Udogie the left back was 20, Van der Ven's 22, even Romero's 25, quite young. Sarr in the middle 20, Basuma mid 20s, Yeah, we've got some very good young players at the minute, and it's a good blend. And it's just good to see different faces, lots of fit, energetic players, and they're playing a very good style of football. So,
well, it's the exact thing that you wanted, and we spoke over the summer about. I know we will bang on about it 1,000 times, but it's new,
exactly.
And you haven't got 6 years worth of pent up frustration to shout, have you?
No, and that's
like if this Vicario makes a howler. Okay, he's young, he's new. Yeah. Let's stick with him for a bit. If is it Van der Ven? Yeah, Van der Ven makes a howler. Okay, let's stick with him. He's not doing it again, and it's for you. It must be refreshing to watch.
It's brilliant to see, and like you said, we still got some players, and I think in a couple of weeks some of them will leave. But he brought on Davis, and Perisic. I think Perisic is quite a clever person to keep around. He's extremely experienced, and with all those young players, you do need a good mix. But yeah, it's not. We haven't got a new manager, and then he's just gone right. Davis left back, Forster in goal, Dyer. All these players are always playing. But yeah, no, he just totally come in and said that we're going to do it this way, and we have to start again. And it's obviously 2 games in, and it's going very well.
And then so Anthony hit the post not too long after. That was a good chance. He cut in and
the fidget spinner
thundered the post.
He's a disgrace as well. I know. Again, I'm going to say it all the time, and I sound like boring, but it's the second game. But Anthony, what a disgrace! An absolute disgrace. Was it 100 mil, 90 mil, whatever it was? Shocking. Absolute disgrace. If you're a Man United fan, you've travelled and you've seen that idiot. You'd be raging.
Well, as I'm not. It probably wasn't the most neutral you can be in that game. So not like either team. Martinez, Fernandez, and Anthony are 3 horrible men.
Oh no, yeah, Martinez as well. The butcher at the back. What did it? Did you see him miskick the ball twice? Yeah. One when he sort of that penalty shout when he threw himself into Romero.
That was a penalty.
Yeah, but we'll get onto that. But yeah, he went to kick the ball at Romero basically and fluffed it, kicked the floor, and then kicked it out. And then obviously the own goal at the end just. Hasn't got a right leg. It just went all limp. It was like me trying to kick it. Awful. And he's horrible. Like that one, Romero. You might not have seen it on telly, but he ran over to Romero, was in his face. They obviously both Argentinian, blah blah. But yeah, just horrible. Just a horrible.
Yeah, because Martinez barged him, didn't he? And then booted the ball at him.
Yeah, and then they carried on. But on that penalty, I don't.
It's a Stonewall penalty, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too biased about it, and is what it is. But if Son's against Brentford. The level of contact was absolutely nothing compared to what Martinez done to Romero, and Romero's obviously throws himself to the ground and tries to win the foul, but yeah, it was pretty robust tackle or whatever. Yeah, and again, Oliver didn't do nothing about it. So
it's one of them ones. If that's outside the box, it's a free kick.
If that's a centre midfielder on another midfielder, in the middle of the pitch, then yeah, it's just given. But I don't know. Yeah, it just wasn't, and it is what it is.
And just trying to think, there was a cross that came in from a free kick. He made a good save.
Casemiro header.
Was that still at 1-0?
That was 1-0. Yeah, good save again. Son had a good chance when he kept the ball alive. We had a good move, played it out to the right, came back to Son. He basically faked, got past 2 or 3, and then his shot was blocked by Shaw, and that would have been a brilliant goal. But yeah, the second goal, Maddison switched out to the left. I think Perisic got the ball. He slipped it through to Davis. Davis attempted shot, didn't quite connect, and then Martinez, don't know what he was doing, just stumbled and flicked it, and Onana just didn't know what was going on, and it rolled in, and it was 2-0.
Yeah, so we all thought it was, at the time, Jake's mate, Gentle Ben.
No.
Because he wheeled off celebrating, didn't he? But obviously you see the replay, and it nicks off Martinez and goes into the goal. And that was it. That was all she wrote, really.
Yeah.
At 2-0, that was game said and done.
Yeah, no, first half was very even. Second half we absolutely dominated. It just was brilliant, and the players that have started well, Basuma, Maddison, even the left back Udogie, just a lot of new players, and all the rest of it, they've been absolutely outstanding. And that second half was brilliant, and it was that front foot attacking style, and the crowd was up, the atmosphere was buzzing, and obviously we scored that early goal in the second half, good time to score, and it was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So obviously you were at the game, you wouldn't have watched the Sky after bits, but Neville was what's the word I'm looking for? Lamenting when you shout at someone.
Yeah, okay. I will, yeah.
The Glazers for not investing in that midfield.
Yeah. Go on.
Keane called them the new Tottenham.
Yeah.
Midfield started of Casemiro 80 mil, Bruno Fernandes of 70 mil, Mount new signing 60 odd mil,
Anthony on the wing.
There's money being spent in that midfield. What do United need? I wasn't convinced of them last year. I didn't think they were until that. I think you said it last week. They were the best of the rest, and the rest was shit.
Yeah, we don't
want to say too early because it's obviously game week 2.
And I want to quickly, because this happened last year. United started. They lost their first 2 games of the season. This year, they're actually 3 points better off. And everyone was writing them off. Like everyone was saying, even I said it stupidly, but Martinez wasn't good enough, not big enough. Or Carragher was on Sky saying it, and everyone totally wrote them off. And they finished in top 4 and won the League Cup. So, I wouldn't write them off at all. I think they'll be absolutely fine. They've got, like you said, Casemiro. They've got players, Fernandes. They've got a very, very good side. They've got absolute quote-unquote winners in their team, and they're a star-studded team. They're Manchester United, but at the minute
they've started the season horrifically.
At the minute, they've started poorly.
I don't know what they need. I still think they need a new right back, personally.
Yeah,
Dallo, not for me.
No, well, Wan-Bissaka played most of the game, didn't he? He wasn't great.
Either or there.
But that right side, Wan-Bissaka and Anthony, I feel when Arsenal play him, City play him, that's a field day, absolute field day.
Did Sancho start? I can't remember.
No, he came on. Sancho came on. Garnacho started again. He's so poor. I know he's young, and you're going to expect it. It's going to happen, but poor. It's harsh because again he's young, but I thought he was awful. Anthony was awful. They were the 2 stat, and the midfield similar to what happened to Wolves, and that's why the second half was so good for us. And we said it before, like again, all the people there, but we said it could be a field day for Basuma and Maddison. The second half it was. They just ran through them. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but that midfield 3, Mount, Casemiro, Fernandes. They want Casemiro to win the ball, sit deep, disrupt and destroy. Mount, who presses and runs and harries and causes havoc. And then you offload the ball to someone like Fernandes, who can create that. On paper, that should work perfectly, but it hasn't at the minute. And again, it might take time. The new players playing with each other, so it could be in a few weeks. You'll see what they're trying to do. But at the minute, it's early signs. It's not quite working.
Yeah, and they've still got their striker to come back in.
Yeah,
and I imagine Rashford's always struck me as he's a left winger, and he's not a striker.
No, he's much better off the left.
Much better off the left.
I think
with a target man up front. and then that brings into play all sorts of things. But yeah, just an all-round positive weekend for Spurs and yourself.
It was.
And it must have been nice to finally get one over at United. Like I said, was it 2018?
2018, last home
Wembley.
Home win, yeah.
That was when Eriksen scored
within seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
No, it's very good, and we said it just feels like a dark cloud has been lifted at Tottenham. And like I said, it's very early on, and we might not be anywhere near it, but bloody hell, it's far more exciting. Everyone's far happier watching that than what we've seen in recent seasons. So, yeah, and we the big test at the minute is when we play Arsenal away. That's our first real test, and we've got a few games, and we might lose in Burnley away next week, and whoever else we've got. But Arsenal,
away,
Bournemouth, and then we have Burnley as well. But yeah, a very good start, very exciting. The manager's saying all the right things, and obviously he's working and doing the right things at the minute. So yeah, we can't really complain.
Good. Move on to Wolves and Brighton.
Yes.
What a start they've had.
Yeah, top of the league.
Back-to-back 4-1 wins.
Yeah, 8 goals in
Only
2 games.
one of 2 teams to have a 100% record after 2 games already. Brighton and Man City. Absolutely smashed. Wolves were...
Yeah.
Going into that, just say this was last week before the games played. Banker, Brighton, banker. But obviously, Wolves' performance on Monday may have had people think, they could get something out of this, potentially. But Brighton, how good was Matop that first goal?
Yeah.
Get the ball just inside Wolves' half.
I mean, potentially
2-3 players.
Goal of the season, it'll be up there.
And if you watch it from the angle behind the goal, it's fantastic.
Really?
You can see all the Wolves players have no attempt to play the ball.
Yeah.
They're looking for shirt pulls, looking for a tap of the ankle.
Can't get near him because they know
Hillman is just
gone.
trying to give a penalty way at the end, and he just gets
he
past
glides
him
through him.
and slots it past Sarr.
And
And then the second half just went nuts in the first 9 minutes, I think it was. Yeah, you had I can never pronounce his name. Estepina scored his second goal of the season. He got an assist last week. Second goal for Brighton, sorry.
Yeah.
And then a Solly March double made it 4-0 in the 55th minute. Have you seen the videos of the Wolves fans and the hospitality? It's the same as Spurs, isn't it? They have hospitality above the away
and
end.
They do, and they have it at Villa away as well, or Villa Park. They have the home fans, but in a box right behind the away fans. So either way, it's going to be a bad. It's going to be a bad day for someone. So yeah, I've seen a few knocking about. It's very funny.
That actually happened at Arsenal when Arsenal played Wolves away a couple of years ago. And I think we scored some crappy deflected goal after 10 minutes or something, and then they battered us.
Yeah.
All game. We went down to 10 men, and they battered us, and we won 1-0.
I think I've seen that video.
And he's just going nuts.
There's a video going around.
And it's just glorious. It's just, but that is British football culture.
Well, it's the only, I think our friend and listener to the show, Jim, has said it in the past, but football is the only place and only thing that sends fully grown adults mental. Blokes go to the stadium and just lose their minds, and the videos that go around are a prime example of that.
Can you imagine sitting down for half time? Maybe you've missed 30 seconds getting your beer, and 9 minutes you're 4-0 down. I was like, what is that? But how good are all the goals?
I know, and the 2 counter-attack goals. I know it ended up being tap-ins, but they were flying in the counter-attack.
They got that youngster, the blonde-haired guy. He scored that banger against City last year. He's the one
he
got the 2 assists.
They're good. And we've got here, but over the summer, Sol Caicedo, McAllister, 2 very, very good players for Brighton. And again, they've just not broke stride and just carried on. And just whoever they're playing, I don't know who it is. I can't even think about it. But they just, it is what it is. We'll just carry on. And they've moved on and they're doing absolutely fine again. For
a team that have struggled... I say struggle for goals is the wrong term, but they should score so many more than they do.
Because they don't have that out and out. Like Welbeck, he's brilliant for the side, but he doesn't score 15, 20 goals. No. Yeah,
but they're 8-2. That's a massive improvement on what they have been doing. And head loss of the week, Matthias Nunes.
Yeah,
he was gagging to be sent off, wasn't he?
And it's like it's definitely Wolves fans will be 50-50. I'm like, I love the passion, like mate, and then the rest are like, you idiot, what are you doing?
Already on a yellow.
We're 4-1. We lost the game. It's done. We need you. No matter how bad you've been today, we actually need you. You're a good player for us. And you go and do that, you get sent off.
If one shove didn't work, the second one got him sent off.
It was stupid. But he knew straight and he just walked off.
Yeah, just absolute head loss of the week. But it's a strange one for Wolves. Having been robbed at Old Trafford,
Mm.
you thought you would come into that first game at home a bit more positive, but they got got battered.
Yeah,
but that's what I think that's what we all thought would happen.
Yeah, but
because Monday was
exactly.
Maybe pulled the wool over our eyes is
Yeah.
the wrong term I'm using there, but I think we expected maybe them to be a bit better than they actually are. I tipped them to go relegation, so of course, on that basis, they should lose to Brighton.
And
heavily.
they have lost 2 games in a row. Whether how good they were Monday, and they were very, very unlucky and almost robbed, or they were robbed, but they have still lost 2 out of 2. Haven't scored one goal against Brighton. They've actually lost no win in 5 for Wolves from the back end of last season as well. And now already they've got Everton away next week or next game, and that is suddenly a huge 6 points. That's
exactly what I've put. I put Everton away next week. 6 point question.
It's a massive. It's already the 3rd game in, and I think
and for Everton.
Yeah,
too.
no, I think Everton probably more so, or they'll be more aware of it. But yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Gary Neal 3rd game in, like you have to beat Everton. It's ridiculous because they. Don't know, Wolves were brilliant Monday, but they still couldn't score, and a very similar situation against Brighton. But I think I saw Gary O'Neill saying that they tried to match Brighton and press and win the ball high up the pitch, and they were falling down in 60 minutes. So now he needs to think, right, do we just sit back and counter? Do we try and press teams and all the rest of it? I don't know.
I mean, I can only go off what I saw when I saw Brighton last season at the Emirates. And when Arsenal are a good pressing team, and Arsenal can normally play out the press, but Brighton were the best team I saw there in terms of making us look bang average.
Yeah, no, they were
so good at their games that sometimes you can't. They're too good to match. You have to think of another way around them. Maybe you change your plan a little bit, but they're so young, fit, strong, and they've got a player for, like you said, Welbeck's a perfect example. Yeah. He might not be the best out-and-out goal scorer, but my God, what he does on that left-hand flank is
and he might not be even the best player, but. Yeah, he just works.
He's very intelligent.
Yeah,
he
just works so well with that side, and obviously another manager that's gone, right, actually, Welbeck, you're perfect, you'll do. And it's harsh on Wolves because they've played Man United away and they've played a very good Brighton side. The first 2 games, 2 losses, it is what it is. But it's almost similar to Everton. Trying not to harp on about them, but they got battered against Villa, and it's the fashion you lose, and Wolves, Núñez getting sent off, losing his head, like just crumbling and falling apart. It's not a good sign this early on.
So Solly March 3-2. Southgate in the stands.
Nah,
not for you.
Nah, not for England.
I didn't realise he was English. I thought it was like Northern Irish or something.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, he's obviously a very good player, but I think just one of them.
Wingers we've got so much depth of talent in wingers. And attacking midfielders.
Yeah, and it happens in football. You have lots of players that are very good for their club in periods. And like, call them up for England. Well, yes, they are very good players, but I would still have 4 or 5 other players above them, even if those particular players aren't playing well. So,
Harvey Barnes or Solly March?
Harvey Barnes, yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't think Harvey Barnes would even be in the squad.
No, but that's the sort of level we're talking.
Exactly,
I think that's the sort of level we're talking about, where you've got even he likes Jadon Sancho, who's nowhere near the squad,
but you probably a lot of people would still have him over Solly March. But yeah, again, like I said, Brighton just trotting along nicely, and they're not phased.
You don't want to play them next. I don't know who they've got next. Have I got the
West Ham actually?
That is a West Ham pokey team, isn't it?
West Ham, we've got it here, but West Ham played them 12 times in the Prem and lost 6, drawn 6. So, and West Ham fans are fully aware of their record against Brighton. So
they are indeed. Should we move on to West Ham?
Yeah, let's do it. So,
just start off. What a result! I think fantastic performance. And this is such a, might sound a bit cliche, but this is such an advert for the Premier League, where you've got a plucky, and apologies for this term for West Ham fans, relegation candidate versus the biggest spenders in the Premier League,
in world football.
In world football, spent nearly a billion pound on that team. But you also know you couldn't really tell who's going to win this game going into it. This could quite easily have been 3-1 Chelsea, 3-1 West Ham, or a 2-2 draw.
Yeah,
it goes that way,
and West Ham. I think it was a perfect storm. That it was first home game, new season against Chelsea. They don't like against Pochettino. Obviously, used to be at Spurs, now at Chelsea. They hate him even more than they used to. obviously their first home game since winning the Conference League. I think they got a big old reception before. Obviously the fans again, like us at home, first home game, everyone's buzzing, everyone's well up for it. And yeah, they started.
New signings started.
Yeah,
finally they've been clamouring for signings all summer, and they finally got them in before the game.
There was a lot of bad noise and negativity around West Ham, around the manager, and lack of signings, the Paqueta saga that went on this week, and then they turn up and Paqueta starts, for example, Ward-Prowse plays, and they score within. I think the players obviously played off the energy and what the crowd were doing and scored early on, but I don't actually think West Ham weren't terrible, but I don't think they were. They definitely weren't 3-1 better than Chelsea. There's no way. I just don't. It was I was watching. I was very surprised at what was going on. I was very surprised.
So, a strange one for me. So they obviously took the lead early on. Again, horrific defending.
Yeah, it was a warning though, because the first corner was similar, and I think someone headed it and didn't quite connect with it, and then the corner after, Gallagher
lost his man.
Yeah, just looking at the player. Then as soon as the ball comes in, looks at the ball. Obviously, the players moved, goal, and
no player on the line. Goes straight in.
Just very, very poor defending.
1-0, and that was basically all West Ham had to offer in the first half.
Yeah.
And Chelsea dominated the ball very well. Sterling actually had a very, very good game.
Yeah, and that's probably the first time I've ever watched Sterling. You must be like thinking, like, what are you looking at? But I've actually thought, like, oh, you're actually good. But yeah, at the weekend I thought he was brilliant. I really thought he was.
For City, yeah, he's had some very, very good games. And for England as well during that Euro run, he was very, very good. But not for Chelsea. He hasn't had one single really good performance. He was very good, very dangerous. But it was Carney Chukwuemeka who scored a lovely goal.
Yeah, it was a good finish for it. Very good.
Little shimmy and whip into the corner.
Sent Souček and then cut inside and whipped it, but kept it at such a nice height, and firm into the corners. Yeah, it was brilliant goal. It
was one of them goals where you could tell the player, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he did it perfectly. Yeah. He knew he wanted to send him to the left to get that yard, and then what a finish!
Yeah, it was very good, very good,
very aesthetically pleasing goal.
It was nice.
And it was just desserts for Chelsea. They were 1-1, playing the better football, make it imposing on the game, and like we just said, Sterling again driven into the box. What was Souček doing? Clumsy tackle.
Launched himself
straight away, hands up, didn't touch him. And clear as day penalty. The only argument, was it in the box? Yes, it was after VAR looked at it. No, penalty.
Definite pen.
£100 million Enzo steps up.
£100 million player can't score from 12 yards.
People miss penalties, but that was horrific.
Yeah, it was horrific, and it's just a poor penalty. From the run up.
The run up does it, because if you run up like that,
you can only go that way. Surely.
You can only go that way. If you watch it, keepers obviously. Areola would have watched all week. People taking penalties, and he would have been against. We'll get onto it later, but Paqueta taking penalties. He's got the similar sort of run up, and it's a battle of the nerves. As soon as you move,
they go. Yeah.
But if the closer Enzo gets the ball, he can only put it in that way, because the right footers naturally can only. You can't.
Areola as well. He's faced 8 penalties before, never saved one. His 9th penalty weekend saved it as well.
Because, funny you bring that up, Fabianski's he's got the all-time record penalty saves.
I remember it from one of the teasers, yeah. And he was sat on the bench.
And he's always been good. So that's a thing.
Maybe he's helped Harry. Yeah. I mean, I think told him at the weekend, but if you're training with someone that's very good at saving penalties, I'm sure that's rubbed off on you. But just poor, very poor. Enzo still hasn't scored for Chelsea.
He's only won 3 Premier League games.
Enzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've put it here, their record. What is it? Chelsea.
It's not great. The last 24 games they've won.
Chelsea have won 1 out of their last 14 Prem games. For obviously carried on from last season as well, but
is it Todd Bowley's had more signings than he had Premier League wins?
He signed 28 players since he's arrived. 28. That is mental, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
And there's so many who he's tried to sign and missed out on.
Everyone's been saying it and our friends, but honestly, I watched the week. I was like, "Who are these players? They all
have the same haircut,
and they all look the same." Like, I don't know. I just don't know what's going on with Chelsea. And
they've all got the middle part dreads.
Yeah, and there's a lot of very few Chelsea fans that we know that are quite happy about it and they're positive. And similar to Spurs, they got a whole new side, lots of new players, and obviously a new manager trying different things. It's good. I'm not going to write them off. I think they'll be like United. They'll be fine, but. Yeah, just a very strange assortment of players.
Surely you have to finish top 4 in a trophy. Can't spend £1
You
billion
should, yeah, no, you should.
and be, it's a project.
Yeah, you should, but I don't think because that's that. It's almost.
It's all right saying 500 mil, 400 mil project, $1 billion. No.
It's a conflict of interest because they've spent it all, but they spent it on youngsters, and then they've got a manager who's Pochettino, who's coming out and saying, no, we need to trust the process and blah blah. But like you're saying, you spent $1 billion, not obviously Pochettino, but over the time they've come in and all these new players, and they've churned out a load of players they had before. So yeah, Chelsea need success now. So.
Yeah,
and they might be. It's, like we said, keep saying it's very early and all the rest of it, but yeah.
No, that's probably my bias coming in there, wanting Chelsea to.
Oh, 100%. I'd love them
to flop,
finish 12th.
And Chelsea went into that or finished the first half very, very strong, and you'd be very confident going in. I think the Chukwuemeka substitution didn't help things. I think they lost a lot of balance when Mudryk came on for him, and Mudryk just stunk the place out again. Yeah,
he got injured there. I think that Chukwuemeka's got quite a bad knee injury, so follows the list, doesn't he?
And West Ham imposed himself after that, and Antonio, when he was running through, not at one stage I think he was going to score.
No.
And then he unleashed it.
Did, through legs.
And looking back on it, am I being super, super critical, or does a top goalkeeper save that?
You watch it back and I was like, well, he's not. He's because the initial when he received the ball, he's alone, but obviously they get round him, and they looked like he had it under control. And then he just shot through the legs, and the goalie when it goes through the legs, it's very difficult. But I don't know. Yeah, even Sanchez in goal, like, what is that about? It's just a.
Well, this is my point. Robert Sanchez ended last season being Brighton's third choice goalkeeper, and now Chelsea have signed him,
and he has to play
as the undisputed number one. He's got no challenge there. They've got rid of Mendy. They've got rid of Kepa. They've got him, and it's someone like Bellatini, I think, something like that. He's like 40.
Been around, yeah.
I think he's been there 9 years, never played.
Yeah,
one of those goalkeepers.
Yeah.
They haven't got we mentioned it last week, or the week before. Is Sanchez number one? A number one? De Zerbi didn't fancy him.
No.
At Brighton.
And he was good. He was good at Brighton, but I never thought, we should like Raya. I'd go right, yeah. Brentford's goalie, obviously now Arsenal, but he's a good player.
But he hasn't played. He hasn't played.
I never thought
months.
About Sanchez. Yeah.
Jason Steele came in early 2023. I think it was like March something. He hasn't played football.
Yeah. No, it's very odd. And even that adds to Chelsea. New goalie, whole new back 4, 5, whatever they're playing. Lots of new players around, so it doesn't help. But yeah, that Zazi, whether I thought, he's got it under control and he'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, Antonio just unleashed a shot and went for his legs and found a corner.
And then Chelsea had a few attempts after that. Mudryk spilled on over the bar. Then talk of the town. Moses Caicedo came on.
Oh yeah, I'll leave. I'm saving for later on, but
came on 60th, 70th minute.
He came on. Yeah, he played about 61st minute. He came on. And
he's promising start when he had that shot just over the bar.
Little volley, wasn't it?
Never know what he was going to come on for or what he could do. But
it was a poor cameo, wasn't it?
Stunk the place out. Gave away the ball countless times, a couple of fouls, and ended up giving away the crucial moment, giving away the penalty.
Similar to Suja's clumsy tackle.
Clumsy, and it was a counter-attack from West Ham, and Paqueta was in the zone. He played very well yesterday. I thought he was in the zone. Played the ball across to Emerson. Emerson was always going to get there, and it was a tired tackle from someone who shouldn't be tired. But then, looking back, I think someone said he hasn't played any pre-season. Basically, obviously, the last week of transfers and moving house and all that stuff, what we don't see as fans, probably it led to that performance.
Yeah, but even they brought on him, and they brought on, I don't know, he's a youngster, like a random youngster, just another player added to the list of new players. Like, they are not always going to struggle, but it is very hard to beat West Ham anyway. And then with all the new players and new faces, it's a strange one really from Poch, I thought.
So it was the £200 million midfielders had a shocker in that penalty area.
Yeah.
The afternoon, obviously with Enzo missing it, and then the £115 million player giving away the penalty.
Yeah. Which
Paqueta stepped up, took extremely coolly.
Yeah. Gave it a slight no look as well.
No look, that's how you take a penalty if you want to fix it. And you could actually tell, obviously, it's probably been personally quite a tough week for him, with potentially a big move to Man City falling through, this betting scandal going on. that, or you never know what happened. If you see Tony 9-month ban, or it could take whatever, or it could be one of them nonsense ones like Shaka's thing that flirted around for a bit. We don't know yet, but you could tell actually the outpour of emotion that came out of him as he like dropped down to his knees, shouting, grabbing the shirt.
And then the game he went down, a bit of an injury, obviously
cramping.
He gave everything for that game, and it was just, I think it was like I said, a perfect storm for West Ham. A very, I don't want to sound like I'm defending Chelsea, but a very tough game for Chelsea. On paper, you're like, West Ham way, that'd be a win, but in the whole week leading up to it, on the day, it is a very, very difficult game with all the things that were happening. And it was not in West Ham's favour, but they almost turned it into their favour, the Paqueta stuff and all the rest of it. And even Moyes, I think before the game, everyone said, get rid of Moyes. But I think he just, water off a duck's back, and he marches on. The little granddad just carries on.
I was actually impressed with Alvarez's little cameo as well. I thought he came on and
the midfielder they've got.
Yeah, he came on and held it together well and was winning headers and making little niggly tackles and just looked the part. Yeah. Obviously, we'll quickly mention Ward-Prowse as well, 2 assists.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
and he looks
very good
for a team.
Perfect, not
that
very
scores,
good. Just ideal for them.
Team that scores countless amount of goals from set pieces and create chances from set pieces. You've probably got the best in Europe.
Just born for West Ham in their style of playing. If they weren't already, they're going to be ridiculous at set pieces now with that delivery and the players. They're just all lumps that just attack the ball. Like it sounds very simple, but for whatever reason, other teams don't do it. West Ham just get the biggest men they've got and go, right, get your head or body on that circle thing and head it towards the goal. And it works, and it works a treat. And I'm sure they'll definitely work on that. Ward-Prowse from when they're in your half, any position is a dangerous position. Like when people used to play Stoke and not kick out a throw-in, I think West Ham, you just try and avoid tackling. I don't know how you deal with it, but you won't be kicking out for corners and stuff like that.
No, so that's a very valid point. Anything more to add on your beloved Hammers?
No, I just say that was again all the before the season. Again, it's 2 games in, you don't know, but it was a standard West Ham. They play Chelsea at home, they're well up for it, and that's the thing. They'll be well up for it. They've done well, they got the win, but then they'll go to Brighton and probably lose 3-0, and they'll all have the ump again. It's just I think it's it'll be a good, very standard West Ham
test. That's the word I'm looking for. A good little test to see where they are. With obviously Brighton are a very tough team. Yeah, go away from home and see if they're gonna. I don't know if West Ham fans would bite a handle for a draw. I think most teams would bite a handle for a draw at Brighton. Yeah,
especially in a minute. I just don't think West Ham are that good at the weekend at all. And I don't know. I think Brighton will beat them. I don't know. But obviously, but the Olympic Stadium, they'll be buzzing, wouldn't they? So, again, Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea have been bad. They were quite good against Liverpool, I thought, first week, and again they were pretty good. They had 75% of the ball.
They were, but my thing with last week with Chelsea is obviously football is a lot of if, buts, and maybes. But if that VR decision and Salah is onside and they're 2-0 down and going into half time, they don't come back and draw that. No. That potentially goes 3 or 4-0.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. That's just a.
I don't know what you thought, but the VAR penalty on when Jackson was called offside. How did you see it? How close it was?
Yeah.
Do you not think it was like? I know they draw lines and that's, but I just thought it was so close. Like that is pretty harsh or whatever. But I don't know. I thought it was very close.
I know they draw lines, offside lines are. Again, who draws them? Who decides that the line is going to be 0.00 millimeters thick? Yeah. And then which ref decides not to draw them on last season?
yeah, exactly. No, I just thought it was very, very close,
I'm so bored of talking about refs because it just happens all the time. Like what? Just release what they say. I'd love to know what was said while that wasn't given as a penalty last week.
The Monday night would have been incredible. Surely that's got to be. Release the tapes.
Yeah, that's got to be like you've been framed. They'd be like, oh god, what do we do? Let's just talk about. He went and clotheslined him, but no, he sort of played the ball, but no, he didn't touch the ball.
And that's the thing.
Two Wolves players are on the floor in the heap.
Goalies now, when a ball is in the air and is there to be won, they can come out and do absolutely anything and get away with it. They have to. If that Onana is not a penalty, then they can do literally anything. When it's on the floor and they come out and they trip him up, whatever, penalty.
Compare Onana's clothesline to the goal Everton got disallowed last week when he dropped the ball on his head.
Yeah.
Leno dropped the ball on his head,
Yeah.
and Tarkowski or Keane tapped it in. Goal disallowed. Oh,
Also, one of the good things from the weekend, again, it's a different game, a totally different ref, so they've refed it differently. But Villa, Everton, when Pickford come out and the penalty was given to Villa, Pickford come flying out, basically went to punch the player, missed him, luckily for Watkins, but it's a penalty. It's a 100% penalty, and that was even less contact than Onana. So, it's just they're just poor. Refs are poor.
Right, should we move on to our team of the week?
Yes.
Do you want to start off with your mate?
Yep.
So
in goal.
Apologies, West Ham fans. It's not Areola.
No, yeah, no.
I did try to fight your corner, but I was shot down.
The
man who saw this man in.
Areola didn't get a clean sheet, so.
Man who saw this person in action.
Yeah,
he was very hyped. He was sending me texts on Saturday night.
His date was a response. I was like, please, you need to rebound off my energy. But yeah, Vicario, the Italian from Tottenham in goal. Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant, and you don't see on match day, but throughout the whole game he was excellent. And I think he made 2 saves, but they were both offside, so he obviously wouldn't have counted. But they were arguably his best saves. Just really reflex and fingertips, and he just was really, really good. And again, don't know who he is, but he was brilliant. And again, he might be rubbish next week, but yeah, from the most recent time, he was very good. So yeah, he's in goal this week. And
I'll start off in defence with Rico Henry. Another great display at Brentford, clean sheet away at Fulham in the London derby. Is he knocking on the England door?
Possibly.
Left back.
Yeah, left back possibly. But then, I don't know.
Chilwell.
Yeah. But then I think purely on, similar to what I was sort of hinting at with Marsh.
Yeah, there's...
You got Shaw who plays for Manchester United. You got Chilwell at Chelsea. I think the England teams are always based on that, really. Yeah. So... But he can't really team week. Obviously, it's week to week. But he was good against us, good against Spurs the first week as well. Rico Henry, so he started well.
Deserved to be in, and he started the season very well, like you just said. The second defender we've gone for is the fan vote, Estepinian. Now I've got Estepinian.
Yeah.
And Serge Aurier.
Serge got two
assists, didn't he?
Friday night.
2 lovely crosses. For two-headed goals for Forest, who got a valuable 3 points, and if they're to stay up, they're going to have to keep winning them home games, and especially against relegation contenders like Sheffield United.
Yeah.
That's a 6-pointer, innit?
Yeah.
I know it sounds stupid, but
Already,
it is, because they're the games you have to win at home if you want to stay up. And on the other hand, should I say, Sheffield United will be kicking themselves because they've just that relegation rival has just nicked 2 points off them. Yeah, 3 points, so I say, off them.
No, it was... Yeah, it's similar to what we were saying earlier about Wolves when they play Everton. That Forest Sheffield United game is already massive, and Forest come out on top. But yeah, the vote went to Estepinian, I think about 86 or 90%.
I thought it'd probably go that way.
Yeah, he was quite heavy this week. So yeah, moving to midfield, another Tottenham player gets in. But yeah, I think Pape Mate Sarr is the name. Don't forget it. But yeah, scores his first goal for Spurs. I think, to be honest, you could have picked Basuma or Maddison, either or, any one of those three. But yes, we went for Sarr this week. Very good. Bit of a all over the place. Breaks up play, scores a goal, does a bit of everything. Probably doesn't get the highlights like Basuma might do, Maddison might do. But yeah, very good. As I said, 20 years old. Very, very good performance.
No, I can't agree. I can't agree more, to be honest. And he scored, like you said, first goal for Spurs and a 2-0 win against Man United. In you go.
Yeah.
And then second midfielder, Solly Marsh. 2 goals in a great performance for Brighton. Like we touched on earlier, 3 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
He's in some fantastic form. And all good goals as well. Yeah. He scored a nice header last week. 2 lovely, I know there were tap-ins, but he was part of a lovely move, and it just looks to be in his element. It looks like he's really growing as a player in the last 12 months. And
in that side, he's probably realising he's a bit more senior. He's probably one of the more experienced Brighton players, and again, he's been through the recent managers, and I think he might have been there when Houghton was in charge. Obviously, Potter now deserving, he's still there, still playing very well. But I think you could have had a few midfielders, like I said, the Spurs ones, but also Paqueta from the weekend. Even Matoma from Brighton was brilliant. He he probably should be in the team of the week. I don't know, but yeah, there was some very, very good performances this weekend. And the one striker we've gone with is Brian and Mbeumo from Brentford as well. Was it 2 goals he scored?
2 goals, yeah. My mate Brian.
Mm.
What did I mention last week? I said Brentford get a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
Ivan Toney scores a lot of goals.
Yeah.
A lot of them are penalties because they're a team who have runners into the box. They have quick winners who go in and they create fouls, and it's obviously a tactic.
Yeah.
Ben Mee said in the podcast a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was very interesting. Brentford have a set piece bonus.
Really?
All the players.
What if they score from a
If they
set piece?
score and if they concede.
Mm.
So they have a pot basically, and it goes up and down.
Mm.
If they score from set pieces, obviously they get paid, and if they concede, they get deducted.
Taken away, yeah.
And it's a very interesting motivational.
Yeah, that's the right word. Motivation in itself,
Yeah.
because you not always see, but yeah, corners happen. For example, the one at West Ham, Chelsea, and it was for some reason within a set piece, players almost fall asleep and give up. Yeah, incentive. Yeah, and exactly that, and maybe that works for them.
And like I said, if Mbembu takes the penalties, which he's going to be taking, and continues to do well at them, he'll have 10 goals by January.
Yeah.
Like Tony would normally, because he takes a lot of penalties, and he scored 3 goals already this season. 2 of them are penalties. Keep it up. I think it's because he's got 4 left in his deal, but I said in the summer I would love Arsenal to try and nick him.
He's very young.
He's 23.
Yeah.
But I think it's because he's got 4 years left in his deal. He's going to be expensive. Brentford aren't going to sell their second best player.
And you shouldn't go not Arsenal, but he's not a 40, 50, and that's probably what they'd ask for. He's not a 40, 50 million pound player at all. If you went and spent that,
I don't know. And this, like you said, like the other day, what does money mean anymore now?
Yeah, very true. But he wouldn't. If you spent on him, he wouldn't even start for you for Arsenal.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. No, you're right.
That's a lot of money on something to not play every week. But no, very good start from Mbeumo and Brentford again.
Yeah, so that was the team: Vicario, Rico Henry,
Estepinian,
Solly March, and Brian Mbeumo. Right. So we had a prediction last week, and it was Bayern Leverkusen versus Red Bull RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
And I went for a 2-2 draw, and you went for a 2-0 win.
Leverkusen win.
And it ended up being a 3-2 win.
So although I've said the Leverkusen win, you're actually not far off saying 2, because it was 2-2 at one point, I think.
So the point goes to you. Obviously, how we play it, we've got a little spreadsheet. We'll send it.
We'll update it.
You will update it here and there. Point for correct result.
Yeah.
3 points for correct score.
Yeah.
0 points for not being right. So this week, let's have a look. Flash scores. You can sponsor us, by the way.
Yeah.
To be fair, Flash Scores is the best football app out there. It is so good.
Because I've seen videos. You have a look and I'll explain. But there's loads of football apps, loads of score updates, all the rest of it, and they time it and all the rest of it. Flash Score is not exactly the quickest. It's probably top 3, but yeah, it's got everything, every sport you need. It's got all the leagues, all the rest of it.
Right. Let's have a look.
Arsenal win.
It's steamy there.
I think they've let off smoke. Oh, offside.
It's got to shoot. Oh, should have done better there, boys.
Arsenal on attack early on as Tate looks for a game.
Right. Sorry, I'm delaying things. Right. Can only be one game we're going to pick from. We're in the SPL.
Oh, I know it.
Hibernian versus Livingston.
Hibs. Oh, the mighty Hibs. Hibernian at home, aren't they?
Hibernian are at home, 3 o'clock kickoff, Saturday the 26th.
Okay, that's all you get. You can't look at form or nothing. I'll go first. I'm going to go 2-1 Hibernian.
2-1 Hibs.
You can go the same as well, it's not a...
I'm going to go 3-0 Hibs.
Oh!
Lafondra double.
Up the Alf.
Lafondra double, 3-0.
Alf 19, get on the score sheet.
And I think they're going to have to win because Lee Johnson's under a bit of pressure down there.
He is, yeah. They got through though, didn't they? Got through their Europa Conference League qualifier. Yeah,
up to Villa. They've got to play Villa on Wednesday.
They got Villa soon. That'll be a huge game.
The John McGinn derby.
Yeah,
Super John McGinn.
that will be interesting if they get absolutely battered. Lee Johnson gets a sack.
Right, winner and loser. Shall I start with my winner?
Yeah, go on, mate.
I've gone my winner, Jude Bellingham.
Nice.
England midfielder Jude Bellingham scored twice as Real Madrid came from behind to maintain their 100% start to the Liga with a victory over Almeria. He's now got 3 goals in his opening 2 top-flight matches in the Liga and has settled in very nicely. And he's 19 years old, 20 years old.
Joke.
New league, joke of a player,
Yeah.
3 goals in £100 million, repaying that price tag already, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just what more can you say? You're playing for the biggest team in the world, and that's
No.
just a joke, innit?
Very good. I've actually, similar vein with your winner and my loser. They're both tale of two debuts, but the winner is Harry Kane this week. On his league debut for Bayern Munich Friday night, goal and assist, which helped them in their 4-0 win against Bremen. Yeah, just Harry Kane doing Harry Kane things. According to reports and whatever else in Germany, it's been said that players and coaches are very surprised by his impact and obviously his levels in it they expect and are showing and having a huge impact on their team. So yeah, very, very good start for Harry Kane in Germany.
Yeah, it was a lovely goal, wasn't it? Typical Kane.
Yeah, just
these assists was just so typical.
Yeah, and he just
dropping deep and
the
playing
whole
Sane.
game he was just a joke. But yeah, Harry Kane winner of the week for me.
Sane is going to love playing with him, isn't he? Just that quick pace in behind.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's a joke of a player anyway.
Yeah.
Loser of the week. So my loser of the week links to a question we got sent from the podcast.
Okay.
Should
I go for mine, then you go with that, and then we'll...
Yeah, you go,
Yeah.
You did.
So my loser of the week, again, debut, I sort of hinted at earlier, but Moises Caicedo, debut for Chelsea. Subbed on the 61st minute. Game was 2-1 to West Ham in the half hour or so he was on. He was just very poor. 95th minute gives away the penalty. Obviously, Paqueta scores, game ends 3-1. But yeah, you think he's played 30 minutes in a new side, brand new signing, give him time, all the rest of it. I'm sure he will, but he also costs £115 million. So I think, Caicedo deserves a loser week. And he's young and he's meant to be, and I'm sure he will be a very good player, but you can't avoid getting highlighted for that terrible cameo over the weekend.
It was a terrible cameo, wasn't it? So, as I touched on earlier, my loser of the week is linked to a question we received in the podcast from our good friend and listener of the show and newly co-host of a podcast, the EFL Sesh, Andy Houghton. He sent in a message and said, how many games do you think Dyche has got to save his job?
Good question.
I don't think we're in that territory quite yet because it's Sean Dyche. If it was Frank Lampard, it'd be a different story. But my loser of the week is Everton Football Club. Something's not right there. They've signed players on a free and loans, and what a limp start to the season, my God. And that performance on Sunday was absolutely pathetic. 4-0, done and dusted. Could have been 6. Just crap. You've got your senior players, Tarkowski, Pickford, Keane. Rubbish.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
And even with a manager like Sean Dyche, you'd think those sort of players would be the backbone and you'd grind out results whether you're winning or losing. But yeah, they were
Ashley
awful.
Young. Crap.
Oh, I see his throwing.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor.
Iwobi came off injured and he's a good player for him, and that's worrying, thinking Iwobi's injured, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
like
missing Iwobi.
Calvert-Lewin off injured again. I know obviously it wasn't his fault this time, got smashed in the face, but what do they have? Let's bring on Neil Maupay. No, just what is going on?
Yeah, very
And
poor.
I think they've survived the last 2 years because they haven't been as shit as the other 3 teams. And this year...
I think that's as well. That, like we say, teams that hover 15th to 17th and... They just always seem to avoid relegation. I actually do think Everton could be them.
The only reason they stayed up last year because they beat Bournemouth at home. That was it. It came down to needing to beat Bournemouth at home.
Yeah.
And they did it just 1-0. But no, that's my loser of the week, Everton Football Club.
On Andy Houghton, whilst we're here, I messaged him and said, if Hull and Ipswich both won, then you might get a shout out, and here we are. So the mighty Hull did get a win.
And West Ham.
And yeah, I was about to say, Ipswich obviously won as well. And even Andy's true side, West Ham, won on the weekend. So yeah, triple threat for Andy Houghton. So yeah, there you go.
Probably the nicest West Ham fan I know.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Right, let's wrap up the show with the teaser. Tottenham versus Manchester United was Spurs' last game at White Hart Lane. But who scored for Manchester United that day?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I was there. It was the final game, White Hart Lane. Was it 1-1?
No, he won 2-1.
Or did we win? Oh dear. We won 2-1.
Kane scored, and I think it was Victor Wanyama.
Oh, who scored for them? I have no idea.
Clue? Have a guess first. 2017.
Was it Rashford?
No. Club legend. Come on.
No, I have no idea what's going on now.
Remember the name? Wayne Rooney.
Oh, really? Did he
Yeah.
score? Bloody hell.
Rooney scored, yeah.
I was never saying that.
Scored in like the 70th minute. Yeah, made it.
I
made
remember
it
we was
2-1.
very good. We were very good, but yeah.
Yeah, you
No,
were
good
very good that year.
I think we didn't lose at home.
Right, that brings a wrap to another show. Another show.
What, 59?
59, yeah. We're back next week, back on Monday. And then we'll have back with another show. And then we'll have a break for 1 week as Jack and I are both away. So we'll have a break on the 10th.
But the 11th is the Monday.
Yeah,
but that's I think that's
international,
so
so it works out right, yeah.
Works out quite well.
So yeah, we'll be back next week, back on Monday, breaking down the weekend's performances. I'm going to Arsenal Fulham with Griff.
Nice.
So it'll be good to we'll talk about that. We might be able to recap on this game. It looks a little bit nervous already, but we will.
10 minutes in, every time I look up is Arsenal with the ball, so
we will see about that.
I'm
but
sure
again,
it'll be fine.
thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoy the show.
Yep.
And stay loyal.
Stay loyal.